Alright, what up guys? Welcome back. Today I want to talk a little bit about some tips for your bulking, your lean bulking, your off season, your muscle gaining, your fat gaining, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call your growing phase where you're specifically trying to gain muscle through the form of gaining a little bit of weight, which too many people are a little bit scared of. They think, I just need to stay at my exact body weight and pack on muscle and not gain any weight and just turn all my fat into muscle. Problem is, if you don't have body fat to begin with, you can't do that. So a lot of times you got to gain weight, dude. That's just kind of what it comes down to. I just kind of wanted to give a little bit insight into the things I've learned over the years because I'm UNC now. I'm officially UNC, dude. I'm 22 years old, going on 23. That's the next age I'm going to turn. Unfortunately, I'm basically UNC, dude. I've been through the ringer, I've been through the mud. I know what to do, what not to do. I know how to pack on that muscle, how to kind of mitigate that fat gain. Because, dude, I've been fat. Pop a picture of me fat. Pop a picture of me shredded. I've been both. I've been everywhere, or been around the world. Especially now that I'm coaching too, and I have some clients. When you coach people, you kind of learn from that as well, because you're kind of like in control. Like I've only bulked myself. If that makes sense? Like I'm my own human being. I've only ever bulked my own body. And then when you're kind of in control of someone else doing it, you learn a little bit more because it's a different perspective. People respond differently to different things. But there are some common themes that pretty much apply to everyone. Number one is sleep. Dude, sleep. Right here, you see my bed right here? I got batteries on it right now, which is bad, dude. I gotta get the electronics off the bed because EMFs are gonna fry my skull and I'm gonna be cooked and I'm not gonna be able to get lean gains anymore. I'm gonna get fat gains if I got too many EMFs in your bed. So keep the EMFs out of your bed. Now, but on some real shit. All right, so if you're one of these people that's like, yo, I only need 5 hours of sleep and I feel fine, you're wrong. Based on science and factually, you're wrong because only about 0.001% of the population has the genetic mutation where they can perform best on that little sleep. You're probably not that guy, pal. You're probably a normal human being like the rest of us, and you need at least 8 hours. And not only do you need 8 hours, you need 8 quality hours. This is what a lot of people don't understand. They get their 8 hours of sleep and they just still kind of wake up feeling like shit, and they wonder why. It's a number of reasons. One, probably the most important and slept on reason, no pun intended. One is you have to have kind of a consistent sleep schedule. A lot of people don't really do this. You might get 8 hours, you might sleep midnight to 8 a.m. one night and then sleep 4 a.m. to noon the other night. And it's oh, well, I'm getting 8 hours every night, right? No, because your body has its own clock. It gets into its own rhythm of things. And it likes consistency. If you're used to going to bed at 12 and waking up at 8, those hours from 12 to 4, if you stay up, your body's wants to sleep, it's not getting it, doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So when you finally give it the sleep, it's gonna get sleep for the 4 hours, and then when it gets to 8 a.m., it's all right, it's time to wake up. Even if you try to force it back to sleep, it's it doesn't really want to sleep. So you gotta also kind of find what schedule works best for you. Some people might respond best to 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Some people 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. The best thing you can do is play around with it for a little bit. Stick with one schedule for a week or so. See how your body responds. If you feel tired all the time, try a different schedule. But consistency is pretty important. And also stop taking melatonin all the time. Once you have your sleep schedule set, there's no reason to take melatonin. A lot of people just slam melatonin because it's it makes me fall asleep easier so I get high quality sleep. No, if you're messing with your body's natural systems and stuff, that's gonna mess with your sleep quality. So avoid the melatonin. Caffeine is the easy one. Just never after 2 p.m. Oh, I can drink a cup of coffee before I go to bed and I fall asleep fine. Yeah, you might fall asleep fine, but your sleep quality is severely disturbed, bro. So people need to just drop their ego when it comes to sleep. And I've been one of these people where it's I can take caffeine any time of the day, I'll still fall asleep, which is true. I did always fall asleep, but that sleep quality is not at all what it could have been without the caffeine. And the reason why all this is so important is because when you're sleeping, you are growing. That's when a lot of muscle growth is occurring. Get your sleep in check. Consistent sleep schedule. No caffeine after noon to 2 p.m. Avoid melatonin. avoid kind of getting your brain in a hyperactive state before bed. So like avoid the blue light. Second is nutrition. Nutrition, obviously, like if you have not locked in and dialed in your nutrition, then you shouldn't even be in the gym. Nutrition is arguably more important than the lifting itself. There's only so much you can do. If you're training hard, I'll talk about this later, but I'm a firm believer that it does not matter what the fuck you do in the gym, as long as you're training hard, dude. There's nuance to it, but I'm not one of those guys where it's like, oh, like your volume, you're not doing the right amount of volume, XYZ, like this, that. I could rant about this for hours. I'm not going to talk about training. I'm talking about food right now. First of all, you want to kind of space your meals out somewhat. You don't really want to be doing like this 1 meal a day thing, which I see a lot of people doing. The more opportunities you give your body to synthesize protein and build muscle, the more muscle you're going to build. What I recommend, especially if it's hard for you to get your calories in, right when you wake up, get some protein in, get a meal in. Movement after meals is extremely important. A lot of people will just eat their meals and then sit down, lay down, and they won't do anything. Especially if all you do is like work out, you just go to the gym, you don't have any sort of cardio regimen, then your digestion's going to be cooked. I hate to break it to you. A lot of people just have terrible issues with digestion when they're bulking. So what you need to do is, if you have the time, I know this, especially if you're eating 5-6 meals a day, you can't do this, but if you have the time, as often as you can, right after you finish every meal, go for like a light 5 to 10 minute walk. Just get stuff moving, get the blood moving. I don't know the exact science behind it. I'm not a scientist, dude. I'm just a guy who works out and watches like Dr. Mike Israetel on YouTube. So yeah, just do those little walks after your meal. It's gonna help get things moving. Fiber, please make sure you're eating your fiber. If you don't eat fiber and you just eat chicken, rice, beef, rice, eggs, steak, and you're not eating any fruits or any vegetables or like anything that has fiber content, your body's like, your digestion is going to be cooked once again. I'm not going to go into all the science of it. Just take my word for it. Believe me, I'm right. Trust me, I'm right. I know what I'm talking about, bro. And then protein quality. This is something that I've just been kind of like researching lately. Especially if you're like a MyFitnessPal user. When you go on MyFitnessPal and you log all your food for the day, like for me, sometimes I would get to the end of the day and it's like, oh, you ate 300 grams of protein. And I'm like, damn, bro, I could cut down my protein like in half. I don't need 300 grams. But the problem is it's tracking protein from like bread, vegetables. Like it's tracking every gram protein, and not all protein is created equal. Certain proteins have more amino acids than others. You want to make sure you get your 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein, but that needs to be that portion of it needs to be high quality protein. Anything extra on top of that can be whatever, but say you weigh 180 pounds, you need 180 grams of high quality protein, which means protein that comes from things like meat, eggs, fish, dairy products, whey isolate. Whey protein is actually perfectly fine. It's it's actually like, whey protein isolate is like the #1 most bioavailable form of protein. So you don't need to worry of like, oh, protein shakes, are they not as bioavailable as like meat and stuff? Yeah, they might not have as much vitamins and stuff, but in terms of protein availability, whey protein isolate, casein, perfectly fine. Even I think like soy protein is not that bad. If you're just counting protein from like rice and beans and pasta, like that stuff it's protein, but it's got like 1/3 of the amino acids it really needs to actually build muscles. And then in terms of fats, you also want to get high quality fats in. Generally the minimum is like 0.3 grams per pound of body weight, but I always advocate like 0.5 at the very least, just because I've had so many issues in the past with having low fat. So let's say you weigh 180 pounds, you want to probably get 90 grams fat in per day. Once again, that's like, most of that should be high quality fats. So like olive oil, avocado, nut butters, eggs, fish. You don't like seafood, just take a fish oil supplement, because fish oil is pretty cracked, I'm not gonna lie. Fish oil gets you big, dude. If you want to be big like me, you gotta eat fish oil, bro. So either eat your salmon and get that oil naturally just by licking the skin of the salmon and just swallow that fish oil. Gosh, sorry guys, weird. I don't know what that was about. Get your fish oil in. Sorry, every once in a while, guys, my brain, if I talk about something for too long, if I monologue and just shoot the shit for too long, I lose my train of thought. Nutrition. Okay, yeah, fats. Get your healthy fats in. You can even Google omega-3s, omega-6s, polyunsaturated fats. Just make sure you're eating stuff that has that in it. Your boxes are going to be checked in terms of fats. Then fill in the rest of your calories with carbs, bro. If you already have met your protein and fat needs, just throw in carbs. And if it's hard for you to get food down on a bulk, simple carbs are going to be key. You don't need like whole grain stuff. It's going to be too fibrous. It's going to fill you up too much. Like, yes, you need to get your fiber in, but if you're really just trying to slam calories and you don't have the appetite for it, white rice, pasta, like refined wheat pasta, not the whole wheat pasta. I know it sounds backwards, but that's going to help you get more food in. Even some fruits like banana is pretty easy to get a lot of calories in. Plantains, one plantain has like 250 calories or something. Yeah, like that checks your macro boxes. And then you want to make sure your micro boxes are getting checked. Generally, if you eat various meats, various veggies, various fruits, various grains, and various fats, your micros are going to be met. You don't need to really worry like, oh, am I deficient in this and that? If your diet's generally diverse of whole foods, you're going to be hitting your micros. And then once your micros are met, you can even have processed food. It's not going to kill you, bro. You can eat a Pop-Tart if you want it. You can have a bowl of cereal. You can eat pretty much whatever you want as long as your macros are met, your micros are met, you're not going over or under your calories, and the food you're eating digests well and doesn't give you any other issues. Other than that, there really aren't any inherently bad foods. And if it's hard for you to get your calories in, drink your calories. So just make shakes with like whole milk, peanut butter, protein powder, oats, banana, stuff like that. Peanut butter is pretty much like nut butters are the GOAT if you have trouble getting your calories in, and then fatty meat as well as olive oil, throw that on your meals. Make sure your nutrition's dialed in, or else you're literally just wasting your effort in the gym. Yeah, make sure you eat your calories. And then training, I guess training and cardio we can lump in together. Training, like the biggest thing I can say is just progressive overload. I know I was just saying like it doesn't matter what you do in the gym, but you really do want a progressive overload. A lot of it will come somewhat naturally if you just train really hard and train to failure. I am kind of a believer in training to failure. I know maybe the science says leave one rep in reserve, but especially if you're a newer lifter, there is pretty much no benefit to you trying to leave a rep or two in reserve, because you don't even, if you don't ever train to failure, you don't even have a perception of where failure is. So how are you going to gauge how many reps away you are from it if you never actually train to failure? So I would say just train to failure. And then don't overcomplicate your training. A lot of people have this thing of like, oh shoot, is this exercise good? Is this exercise bad? Is this, dude, if it gets you sore and if you're able to progressively like get stronger and stronger at it every week, you're not neglecting any muscles, that's it. Like, I'm not even talking anymore about training, because it's like, I mean, you kind of want to find a rep range that generally works for you. For me, it's like 4 to 10-ish reps works for me. That's where I get the most growth. That's where I'm able to overload the quickest. If I'm in like the 10 to 20 rep range, I just kind of get stuck at the same weight for like months. But if I hang out in that lower rep range and really push the limits on how much weight I can do, strength kind of just starts skyrocketing, honestly. So find what works for you, and then just stick with something that's enjoyable. If you enjoy the training you're doing, you're going to be consistent. You're going to want to come to the gym every day. If you force yourself to do some training style that you just don't even enjoy, but someone on Instagram told you was good, and you don't enjoy it, you're not going to want to go to the gym, and you're eventually just going to start taking like too many rest days. You're not going to be training hard because it's not fun. Find what works for you and what's also fun for you, and then you'll be able to stick in the gym forever, bro. And you're going to make it. If you're in the gym enough, dude, you're going to make it. Well, I mean, there's more. You got to eat right and sleep right too, or whatever. But yeah. And then cardio is the last thing. Cardio I 100% recommend keeping in. For me personally, I do it every single day. And I honestly think if you have the bandwidth for it, you should do cardio every single day, because it's going to keep your body adapted to it. Cardio on a bulk will not make you leaner. A lot of people have this misconception that doing cardio on a bulk makes you leaner and put on less fat. Maybe there's a tiny little bit of literature here and there supporting that, like, it can bias the ratio of like muscle to fat accrual. 99.999% of the determinant of if you put on muscle or fat comes from A, your surplus size, and B, your demand for muscle growth. A lot of people think it's just surplus size, like, oh, 200 to 300 calories surplus, I'm going to put on purely muscle and not fat, or maybe mostly muscle, a little bit of fat. But you need to constantly give your body the demand for more muscle. If you're not training hard and your body's not demanding more muscle, a lot more of those calories are going to go towards fat than they would if you are really making sure your muscle demands are just maxed out 24/7, with taking rest days when you need them, of course. But the cardio, it's only going to mess with your surplus size. So in theory, yeah, if you're without cardio, you're in a 700 calorie surplus, and you add in cardio and that brings you down to 300 calorie surplus. Yes, you're going to be leaner, you're going to be putting on less fat, but it's not the cardio that's doing that, it's the surplus size. So theoretically, if you didn't want to do cardio, you could just eat less, create the same surplus size, and you put on equal amounts of muscle and fat as if you were to just eat more and do the cardio. I'm an advocate of cardio, but don't fall into the trap of thinking that, like, oh, this is how I stay shredded on a bulk, because it's not. Take, for example, someone who does cardio only on a cut, never on a bulk. You do a 5-month off-season bulk, no cardio. Day one of the cut, you get on that treadmill, you try to do 30 minutes incline walking, you're going to be huffing and puffing, your heart is just, your cardiovascular system is just not conditioned to be able to handle it with a low perceived level of effort. However, if you do cardio 365 days a year, once you get into that swing of things that you guys probably notice, if you do cardio only on a cut, you'll notice after the first couple weeks of the cardio, it gets a little easier. If you just constantly keep your body in that state of being good at cardio year round, it's just going to be so much easier when it comes time to shred down. You already are just like conditioned for the cardio. Getting in and out of cardio like sucks. Like if you haven't done it for a while and you try to start doing it again, your perceived level of effort, just because of your heart not being adapted to it, is going to be skyrocket. And then as the weeks go on, especially if you're doing it every single day rather than like 3 to 4 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week is still good. But if you're able to get it in every single day, your heart and lungs just get so much more efficient at it, even if it's just incline walking, to where within 3 to 4 weeks, your perceived level of effort is like cut in half. And 30 minutes of incline walking is it's just killing time. It's not effort. It's not a workout. It's literally just killing time. You're still burning the same amount of calories. So pretty much just by doing it year round, you're getting better at burning calories, and it's going to make your cuts way easier than they would be if you didn't do your cardio. So that's honestly like all the tips I can think of right now. I'm about to be driving I have like an hour drive later today to Iron Revolution to go hit chest later. But that's all I got for now, guys. But I'm definitely gonna record the lift as well. I got chest tonight. But I'm kind of stressing because I hit back yesterday, and I tried Keenan flaps for the first time because I'm on my science-based shit as a joke. Like I was just fucking around and I did them. And I was doing them wrong, I think, and it got my chest so sore because I was like kind of like using my lower chest, kind of like a decline fly. So now my chest is sore, so I'm like, it's gonna hurt when I hit chest today. Like I don't like lifting when it hurts, But anyways, yeah,